The following program is a presentation by students in College of San Mateo's Digital Media program.
Welcome to Global Visions, a show that honors our cultural differences by exploring common themes.
This show is produced by College of San Mateo Digital Media students in the Broadcast and Electronic Media program.
On today's show, we will explore music, crafts, and life celebrations around the world.
In the first segment, I will introduce you to Professor Rudy Ramirez, who will teach us about the roots of music. Then we will take you out of the studio to learn about traditional Hawaiian craft of waving.
And then we will bring you back into the studio for our last segment. My four guests will share their cultural perspectives on life events and celebrations.
I am Luis Palacios.
And I'm Kendall Hogan.
This
is Global Visions.
Thanks for joining us today on Global Visions. Music is the way that people share love, passion, and all their feelings. Today, we are going to learn about some of the origins of musical style. Joining me in the studio is a talented musician and educator, Rudy Ramirez. Welcome, Rudy.
Yeah,
Thank you for being with us.
Oh, it's a privilege and
pleasure.
an honor, believe me. This is wonderful.
How are you?
Excellent. This is really great. I love this.
Were you been playing last week?
Yeah, I played as many weeks as I can. I don't
Wow,
always
nice,
get enough
nice.
gigs, but I'll get it. I'll take it when I can get it.
Before we start talking about music, can you tell us a little bit about your background, your studies and everything?
I was born in Costa Rica, Central America, and I come from a musical family. My grandfather was a professional musician. He taught my father how to play, and then he in turn taught me how to play. So I always had music at home. Always. And I always wondered why my friends didn't have music at their homes, but that's how I grew up, and I took it for granted.
Well, in what instruments do you play?
I play guitar. My father was a professional guitarist, and I started playing professionally when I was 14.
Wow.
I was bored one day when I was 12, and I said, "Papi, show me some music," and he taught me music from Costa Rica, from Latin America, and then I gravitated to the drums in the 70s, and there's nothing like skin on skin.
Yeah, definitely. And now that you mentioned about the conga drums, can you tell me the history about them?
Well, the history goes back more than 500 years, and we're
Wow.
talking about in the Caribbean islands, in particular in Cuba, because it's the largest island in the region. And 500 years ago, there was this native tribe that was called the Arawaks.
Arawaks,
And they had subgroups like the Taínos, like the Lucayanos, like the Caribs, which is why it's called Caribbean, named after the Caribs. And they were, for the most part, a very peaceful people. And then in 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue, and lo and behold, he did not see eye to eye with the Arawaks. The Arawaks were primitive, they were savages, they were heathens, they were not Christians. And so he and the Spanish and later on the Portuguese and the French subjected them to slavery, pretty much decimated the entire population and brought diseases. And after that, then they brought in the African slaves.
That's the way that they get enough manpower to do all that work.
Yes, because you had the mines, you had the silver, gold, copper mines, and then you had your cash crops, the tobacco, you had the sugar cane, all those cash crops, and you needed a manpower to do so. So they had the conga. The people from the slaves came from the Congo, Nigeria, and Ghana.
Directly to Cuban, and then music start over there, and then what happened?
And you'll find this pattern repeat itself throughout Latin America. You have the Spanish, you have the indigenous, and then you have the African, and it just keeps repeating itself. And so the Africans brought their drumming with them. And in Cuba, the conga drum became the instrument of choice. And it's a direct result of the influence of the African diaspora, the influence. And so you have the conga drum, which is basically you get three sounds out of it: open tone, closed tone, and slap. Open tone, closed tone, and slap. And then along the way, they incorporated two more drums: the quinto, which is a higher tone, and then the tumba, which is a lower tone. So you have an open tone, closed, slap.
Nice. And then how Cuban music came out, how they start playing, what was the first pattern?
So initially the drums was a foundation, is the foundation of this music called Afro-Cuban music. And then later on, it became known as Latin music. And then you have other rhythms in different parts of the region. So the first rhythm pattern is called a bolero. It is a slow, sensuous, very romantic type of rhythm designed for couples to hold each other and whisper sweet nothings in their ears. And this is what it sounds like on one drum.
Okay.
This is what it sounds like on three drums. This is what it sounds like with the music.
Sin ti no podré vivir jamás, ni pensar que nunca más estarás junto a mí.
Beautiful song. Los Panchos.
Trio Los Panchos originated in 1947 out of New York City. Two Mexicans and one Puerto Rican. That's the beauty of Latin music, is that it incorporates different influences from different countries and from different people. And they just took the world by storm. They were on top of the world from the 40s and the 50s and the 60s and all through the 70s. They're gone now, but their music is still a legacy.
It was, yeah. I remember that my mother used to hear that music, and yeah, I grew up with that music too.
And that's the other thing, is that it's transgenerational.
It is.
So my grandparents listened to this music. My parents listened to this music. I listen to this music, and my daughters listen to this music
Wow.
now.
And how old is your daughter?
They're in their 20s.
Wow.
You know?
She listens to that music? Yeah.
So yeah, and they both love it, and they can sing the song, Sin Ti, you know, it's like one of the favorites, you know.
And there is any other rhythm?
Yeah, there's various rhythms. There's one more called a guajira, and it's a mid-tempo rhythm. This is what it sounds like on one drum. This is what it sounds like on three drums. This is what it sounds like with the music.
Oh, nice, yeah.
It's great.
Were there any other musical influences that were in Cuban?
In Cuba, yes, but then throughout the region, you know, I mean, it didn't just stay in Cuba, you know, it stayed in different areas. You have like the plena in the bomba out of Puerto Rico. You have the merengue from Dominican Republic,
And
now from Colombia
yeah.
comes was the cumbia, and it's an open tone and a slap on one drum. Or you have the quinto and the tumba on the other. You can do a variation. And this is what it sounds like with the music.
Okay.
Óyeme, Diosito Santo, tú de aritmética nada sabías. Dime por qué la platica tú la repartiste.
Yeah, nice music. Popular.
Beautiful. Very.
Yeah.
It came out in the 60s. It was a dance craze in the United States. But prior to that, every country in Latin America has done its own interpretation of the cumbia.
Yeah, and that was Pastor Lopez, right?
Pastor Lopez, yes.
He was one of the first musicians for cumbia that were famous around the
Yes.
world. Yeah, he
Yes,
was
did.
principal in
Yes.
that.
And there's just different interpretations of it.
But
Different
I have one
interpretations.
more question.
Uh-huh.
Some people think that cumbia and salsa are almost the same. Can you explain us what salsa is?
Well, salsa really means sauce. If you really, if
Yeah.
you think about it,
Yeah.
it's sauce, you know. And the term was used in the late 1960s. Basically, there were mambos, and so then cha-cha-cha and different types of rhythms. So they say, hey, let's lump them together and call them one word. Instead of Latin music, let's call it salsa. And so it's basically mambos. This is what it sounds like on one drum. This is what it sounds like on 3 drums. And what you're going to listen to is Ricardo Lemvo from the Congo, because it came from Africa, it went back to Africa, and now it's come back again. He's singing in Lingala. This is a song called Mambo Yo-Yo.
Yo soy Mambo, Monsieur Mambo, al señor Mambo, Talani Mambo, el agua.
That is the tumba, right?
Tumba, quinto, and the main drum is the conga. If you look at old pictures of Latin bands, they had one drum, the conga drum. And like I said, you know, music keeps evolving, keeps changing. Music is truly the language of the world.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
The
the
language
thing
of the
is,
heart.
It comes from the heart. It comes from the heart. And music is the language of the world. I use it in my classes. I start each and every one of my classes with some kind of music. You know, it's music that they have never heard before. And I talk about that. This is so-and-so. This is what they're doing. And this is why they're doing it. You know, so I put it all in perspective.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Rudy Ramirez, to be with us. It's a pleasure to have you here sharing all your knowledge about music. I really appreciate it.
This has been an honor.
Thank
Truly
you,
an honor.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
If you have been inspired to seek out new music or want to learn how to play the music you just heard, you can actually take classes in Afro-Latin music at College of San Mateo, plus listening to Jazz 91 FM every Sunday from 2 to 4 p.m. for Latin Jazz with Chuy Varela on KCSM. Before Kendall and her guest came into the studio, we are going to take you to South San Francisco to learn about Hawaiian tradition and meet some of your Bay Area neighbors who are persevering it.
Hello, my name is Pia Mihi, and I'm a traditionally trained Hawaiian Lahala weaver practitioner and instructor here at the Kaululehua Hawaiian Cultural Center under the direction of Kumgula Kavika Ofichi. And today I did a workshop on sharing the traditions and culture of Hawaiian Lahala weaving. Hawaiian Lahala weaving is a traditional art throughout the Pacific. The people of Hawaii and throughout the Pacific use lauhala to make mats, baskets, pillows, even sails for their canoes. So today, the art has still survived, and there are many of us practitioners here sharing it. Traditionally trained under my great-grandfather parents or grand uncles and aunts in Hawaii, Auntie Pualani Muraki, Auntie Debbie Toko, and Uncle Kia Franda of the Big Island. We did a workshop on teaching the community how to make lauhala chopstick holders. Many people here have seen lauhala but have never got an experience to work with it. My goal is to perpetuate and preserve this traditional art that was taught to me. I was taught in a traditional setting as a master apprenticeship. I had to sit down and weave and gather materials and gather, clean, pick them with my family along the beach. Today it's a little bit different, but I'm happy that there's places here in the San Francisco Bay Area that still feel that this art is very important. Lauhala is very dear to me, not only because of the importance of it as traditionally and culturally, but because it's part of my family. This is what my family's done for many generations. Great-great-grandmother, Auntie Tutu Ko'olionolani Pahi'o, and she was also from the Big Island. So it's very special for me, and to be here is very special. There isn't anyone here in the Bay Area teaching this art, and I feel that being here, they're shown a lot of great interest and value in this art, and I feel very honored to be here. About a year and a half now, and we've started making bracelets, to coasters, to bookmarks, to chopstick holders, and water containers and water bottle holders, so it's been really fun.
Welcome to the second half of Global Visions. I'm Kendall Hogan. Today I have with me 4 students attending the College of San Mateo, each with different cultural backgrounds. We invited these students to the show today to discuss some of their culture's unique celebrations at different stages of life. Joining us is Yang, Kasha, Omar, and Alejandro. Thank you for joining us today. Yang, we'll start with you. Tell us a little bit more about Chinese New Year.
Chinese New Year is the annual celebration of the ending of the year on Chinese calendar. Chinese New Year lasts 15 days, and each day represents different celebration. Over the 15 days, we celebrate by eating meals, give lucky money, and getting together with family members. One of the most famous traditionals is to say Happy New Year after 12 a.m. At New Year's Eve.
Interesting. There are 12 animals that are associated with each month for the Chinese New Year. What are they?
The rat, the ox, the tiger, the rabbit, the dragon, the snake, the horse, the goat, the monkey, the rooster, the dog, the pig.
And every year is also associated with the month. So what is the year that we're in 2012?
2012 is the year of dragon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And in San Francisco, they have a huge Chinese New Year celebration. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So the street get decorated by lanterns and other bright decorations. And there's a large procession filled with many people dancing, giving out candy, lighting fireworks, and playing music. There's also a line, dragon dance, where people play drums and cymbals and dress up as a lion or dragon and dance around to ward off ill spirits.
Interesting. It sounds like quite the party.
Yes.
And you mentioned earlier something about giving gifts. Is it much like Christmas in which you exchange gifts with family members?
Actually, a little. Gifts usually given between family members and friends, but we don't give cakes and fruit. We give lucky money and candy to the children who are under 18 years old.
Must be lucky to be under 18 then.
Yeah.
And when you guys get together for this celebration, do you typically have big family meals?
Actually, yes. We get all our relatives together and have a big feast. Furthermore, the most famous traditional food for Chinese New Year is dumplings.
Interesting. Well, thank you so much, Yang, for telling us a little bit more
you.
about Chinese New Year. Next, we have Kasha. Kasha, hello. Welcome. How are you?
Hi, I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Good. And Kasha, you are here to tell us a little bit more about Polish weddings. Could you tell me how the wedding is actually celebrated?
Yes. The main wedding takes place in the church with all family members, and it's a very much like a church Catholic ceremony.
Okay. And much like weddings in America, is there a big party after the ceremony?
Oh yes, the after parties are very big, loud, and there's lots of food, lots of people, and most of the guests that were in the church attending the official ceremony, they're invited to the party in the restaurant as well.
So there's a lot of people that attend this party?
Yes,
Pretty big.
correct. It's very big.
Sounds like fun. Well, thank you, Kasia, for informing us more about Polish weddings. And next we have Omar. Omar, thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. And you're here to tell us about Ramadan. Why don't you fill us in a little bit about that?
Oh, yes, Ramadan, for Muslims, it's considered as one of the most important months in Islamic religion because not only you're fasting, but you're also, refraining for food and water. But you're also cleansing your body in the process. For example, you have to be aware of how you talk, what you do, and what you listen to, and as far as how you behave towards other people. And it's also a time where people give money to the poor and needy, and also invite one another in breaking their fast.
Wow, it seems like a full mental and physical cleanse. That must be a really nice time of the year. And how long do you fast for?
30 days.
30 days, wow. And what do you eat when you're not fasting?
When we're not fasting, we eat a small portion and drink a little bit of water.
And after Ramadan, you also celebrate another holiday. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. It's called Eid al-Fitr. But before I go into that, there's something I'd like to say a little small chant before we celebrate. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, wa illahil hamd. So in Eid al-Fitr, people from all over the community gather in one place and they perform a special prayer